Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Liam Rose. I'm an author, mentor, life coach, motivational speaker, evangelist, musician, and activist. In this podcast and audio, we're going to be sharing a message for the SGR podcast. This podcast is always about showing music, media, entertainment, and I created the SGR podcast to help people find a connection with music, especially spiritual music, and help the people to learn more about SGR Stargang Rockstars, which is my music business and company. Now, in this podcast and audio, we're going to be talking about spiritual music is the future. Now, as a musician, when you're creating music and arts and actually performing your music, it's very important to create spiritual music. Now, spiritual music is conscious music and mindful music. This music is meant to inspire the listeners and encourage the listeners on their life journey and spiritual path. Spiritual music is the future because as humanity is changing and as life is moving forward, more people need to listen to conscious music and true music, right? So spiritual music becomes very, very important. As a musician, you want to try to make your listeners and your audience and your following listen to music that reflects who you are. So for me, for example, Christopher Liam Rose, I make a lot of hip hop, rap, R&B, gospel and Christian music because that's the music that makes me who I am as a person, and I'm very passionate about it. But with the music that I make and create, I focus on the spirituality and the faith and the religious side to it. So all my music has a message and essence to it, which is very important. Most of my music is about helping other people, giving back and making a difference, spiritual change for faith, spirituality, and religion. So as I create my music as a musician, every time I make a new song or a new rap or a new production or a new instrumental or beat, I'm focusing on the spiritual side and the faithful side. Now, as a musician, we all have gifts to do music, right? So you could be a rapper, you could be a singer, you could be a songwriter, you could be a music producer, you could be a composer, or just a musician that loves to make music. But we need to make sure we do spiritual music because spiritual music is the future. Now, as a musician, you're leaving a legacy every time you make a new track or a new beat or instrumental in your music. So you want to try to leave a legacy that's obviously encouraging and motivating the listeners, the followers, and the fans, right? So that's why it's very important to make spiritual music. And spiritual music is basically spiritual change within music. So as the listener, the follower, and the fan listens to the music, they're spiritually changing and spiritually learning about consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality, faith, and religion. So it's so important to make spiritual music, and spiritual music is the future. The musicians that basically focus on their content of the music and their message that they're trying to deliver, they will go into the future. And then when you perform spiritual music, because it has a hidden message and a real essence of what it really is, this can inspire millions of people, thousands of people, hundreds of people, billions of people within the world and society. I think right now at the moment in the music industry, a lot more people need spiritual music. They need to find their faith and spirituality in music. I'm not necessarily saying it has to be religious music, so you don't have to be a Christian or a Buddhist to make spiritual music. But what I'm trying to say, because spiritual music is the future, you want your music to have a conscious, mindful message to it, so it inspires the listener, the followers, and the fans. Now, as a musician growing in the industry and performing your music and making your music, try to always have in the back of your mind that you need to make spiritual music, conscious music, mindful music. Even when it comes to the implementation and music production of your songs, make it spiritual, make it faithful, make it truthful. Now, Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha wants musicians to make spiritual music, music that goes on in time. The songs that you create and the music that you create is a part of your legacy and a part of who you are. So make music that is very passionate, soulful, meaningful, valuable, mindful, and spiritual, and truthful, and faithful, and then you'll be doing music that Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha wants you to do. As a musician, you're a very creative person with gifts and talents and skills and abilities. So use all your gifts and talents and skills and abilities to make spiritual music. And obviously, spiritual music is the future. It's going to change a lot of people's lives. And as a musician, you want to be a part of that and be involved in helping the listeners, helping the followers, helping the fans, and making spiritual music for people to listen to and learn from. In spiritual music as well, it should be teaching spiritual lessons and also spiritual teachings and spiritual education. So it should be very educational. As the listeners listening to the music, they should understand that, this song is teaching me something, it's showing me something, it's trying to inspire me in some way. So when you make music as a musician, focus on the spiritual music, focus on your delivery of the song, of the vocals, focus on the music production and the instrumentation, and focus on, how you can make spiritual music go to the masses, go to so many people, and inspire so many people. And by doing spiritual music, you'll be living your spiritual legacy now, making spiritual contributions and helping other people. Also with spiritual music, it should be teaching about helping other people, because helping other people is very important in life, and we want our spiritual music to help other people and give back. And obviously, if we can teach that through the music that we make and create, through our songs and our beats and our instrumentals, then that will inspire more people to get into music, want to be a musician and create music. So I hope this has helped. So the message is, remember that spiritual music is the future. Create music that is very conscious, mindful, spiritual, faithful, truthful, and soulful, and meaningful, and purposeful. And then just make sure when you perform your music, you're actually teaching the listeners, the followers, and the fans spiritual music, and create this spiritual music that you're very passionate about and that you want to create. Okay, thank you for listening now. I hope this has helped, and thank you for having a good day now. Thank you now. Bye now. Thanks.